Hello, my name is Annie Hatley, and this is my final paper PowerPoint presentation. Next slide. I'm excited to present my project, which has the objective to develop an informative policy brief by December 15, 2023, which will provide a comprehensive exploration of policy's role in influencing the distribution and access to Narcan, with a dedicated focus on specific geographical and cultural context. In collaboration with Doctor Alison Kelly from Alison Kelly and Associates, it was a privilege to work collaboratively with her and her team. Their dedication to integrating cultural nuances and respecting traditional protocols within their research and evaluation endeavors is exemplary and sets an important precedent for the development of this policy brief. The policy brief is focused on the Wind River Reservation, home to the Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho tribes. This area represents a fascinating confluence of the traditional and the contemporary, where the age-old ways of life of these indigenous communities intersect with modern health challenges. This distinctive backdrop provides a complex and insightful context for the project, blending deep-rooted cultural practices with current public health issues and offering a dynamic environment to explore and address contemporary health concerns while respecting and integrating the historical and cultural essence of the tribes. Next slide. I've aimed to shed light on the critical public health challenge of opioid overdose within the Wind River Reservation by highlighting the disproportionate impact of this crisis on indigenous populations and the barriers they face in accessing life-saving interventions like naloxone. I've underscored the urgent need for tailored strategies. The importance of my work is anchored in its potential to inform policy and create interventions that are not only effective in preventing overdose deaths, but are also culturally sensitive and respectful of the community's values and practices. By presenting comprehensive, evidence-based research and collaborating with community stakeholders, I've strived to create a policy brief that can serve as a catalyst for meaningful change. In doing so, I believe I've highlighted the significance of developing public health policies that address both the immediate needs and the cultural context of the populations they aim to serve. Next slide. I conducted a comprehensive literature review, analyzed regulatory insights from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, and the American College of Emergency Physicians, known as ASAP, and sought expert guidance to inform my policy brief. This approach allowed me to synthesize a broad range of data and insights, ensuring a robust and culturally sensitive policy recommendation. In presenting my problem statement, I aimed to bridge the gap between regulatory insight and personal impact by detailing the unique challenges faced by the Wind River Reservation residents and the dire consequences of opioid overdose. I intended to create a narrative that resonates on both a personal and communal level. I believe my final paper presentation not only outlines the stark realities of the crisis, but also connects them to the broader context of public health, social justice, and cultural preservation. The reader of my final paper is invited to consider the ramifications of the crisis, not just as abstract statistics, but as lived realities that reflect real communities. In doing so, I hope I have brought the issue closer to the reader's world, prompting to ask themselves, why do I care? In presenting my findings, I endeavored to go beyond mere numbers and tables. It was essential for me to demonstrate how these figures translate into real-world consequences for the Wind River Reservation residents. I illustrated how limited access to naloxone is not just a logistical issue, but a matter of life and death. carrying profound implications for community health and well-being. By discussing the potential effects of policy changes on Narcan distribution, I aimed to convey how these interventions could shape the future opioid overdose management within indigenous populations. I trust that through this approach, I have underscored the importance of the cultural focus and emphasized the human stories behind the numbers, bringing to light the urgency and necessity for informed and culturally respectful public health action. Next slide. Engaging directly with residents, healthcare providers, and tribal leaders through interviews, surveys, and community meetings will provide invaluable insights that are not only relevant, but are also deeply rooted in the lived experiences of those most affected by the opioid crisis. The regulatory shifts and recommendations by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, underscore a broader national movement toward enhancing opioid overdose response mechanisms. The focus on expanding access to Narcan and increasing educational initiatives is particularly relevant as it aligns with the need for proactive and preventive strategies in addressing the opioid crisis. These changes in policy and practice reflect an understanding of the evolving nature of substance abuse and the need for adaptive responses. The expansion of telehealth capabilities must be thoughtfully paired with ongoing efforts to align technology with the community's unique needs and cultural practices. The strong push for telehealth will not only address education and clinical assistance in addressing opioid overdose, but also other health disparities in the AIAN communities. Next slide. The policy brief, through its detailed analysis and recommendations, aims to enhance Narcan access and reduce opioid overdoses in the Wind River Reservation. It emphasizes the need for primary data collection, community-driven insights, and continuous policy adaptation, especially in telehealth services, to address the unique challenges faced by the Wind River Reservation and the similar communities effectively. Lesson learned. It was an intense experience learning the foundational work it takes to create a policy brief. It took a lot of time, research, drafts, and the humbling steps I had to take to start over again when I find myself lost or confused about items I needed to address. With guidance from my preceptor, my MPH practicum advisor, Dr. Fordham, and the critical step of peer editing from my fellow MPH candidates, I am happy to deliver my final paper project. I thank Liberty University for this opportunity and our Lord God, who provided me with guidance and the spiritual fortitude to push through the difficulties that I faced throughout this program. Thank you and have a good day.